Thra. In a small Nigerian village, a mother sat alone at her dinner table. The food had grown cold, but the air was heavy with a different kind of heat, the lingering burn of a mother's prayer. Outside, in the courtyard, her two adult sons stood, having chosen to be brawlers instead of builders. She sat at the head of the table, her hands folded, not just looking at the door, but mourning. She mourned the robes of honor now shredded in the dirt, the precious time stolen by a nameless battle that aimed for a brother but struck the very heart of their home. As she waited, she felt the vibrations of every shout, like a physical blow. Every stone they tossed at each other, she felt as a crack in the foundation of her own peace. Every sharp remark was like a stitch being pulled from the family tapestry she had spent a lifetime weaving. Her strength wasn't fraying from age, but from the weight of holding a space for peace that her sons seemed determined to burn down. Outside, the giants stood paralyzed in the shadows. The adrenaline that had made them feel like conquerors was gone, replaced by the cold, metallic taste of regret. They saw the unfinished walls of the widow's house, a haunting monument to what happens when builders become brawlers. They looked at their hands, realizing the tools of their legacy had been traded for stones. They finally understood. Pride is a lonely garment. Chid promises warmth, but leaves you shivering in the dark. One brother took a step toward the porch. He wasn't looking for a rebuttal. He was searching for a remnant of who they used to be. He reached down and picked up a discarded trowel, a tool meant to bind stones together. Then, he reached out his other hand to his brother. There was no "I told you so." That was the old language. Instead, they began to strip off the rags of the brawler, washing the dust of the battlefield from their faces. They were realizing that the true measure of a giant isn't the volume of his voice, but his capacity to seek grace. The door creaked open. Light from the dining room spilled onto the porch, catching them in its glow. Chet. They didn't walk in as victors of an argument. They walked in as sons of a legacy. As they took their seats, the empty chairs finally stopped feeling like a protest. Their mother didn't ask who won or who threw the first stone. She simply passed the bowl, her smile reflecting the quiet strength of a woman who didn't want a house of brick and mortar, but a home built of mercy. She knew that the short distance from the yard to the table was the longest journey they would ever take. The journey from ego to the altar.